Hello and welcome to the Corona Astro Astrology community where we are the answer. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back. I missed you all last week. I hope that you guys are having a good eclipse season so far. Yes, we are in the middle of the eclipse season already. If you've been following me, you know what I'm talking about. But we start feeling the energies of this about a whole month before the actual first eclipse. So, yes, I am feeling this a whole week before our February 17th eclipse, but we are feeling it. And so take really good care of yourself. Be careful driving and all the things. But, that's one of the biggest dangers that we put ourselves in every day, right? So, and yeah, I have today to share with you a little bit about the year of the young fire horse, but not a whole lot because I have um, a video that you can get a recording of that goes really in depth to this, and I would love to see you there if that is something that you would like. You can get that sent to your inbox. But yeah, we are in the year of the young fire horse as of February 4th. Some of you might be like scratching your head going, okay, I thought the new year started on the 17th. No, it is the Lunar New Year celebration on the 17th. The new year always begins at the beginning of February, around the 4th, 5th of the month. It just really depends on the year. This year it was on February 4th, my bonus mom's birthday. Yay. So anyway, that has already transpired. We are already amidst our very fiery horse energy. And we are also in this metal tiger month. And so yeah, I have a lot to say. And I'm going to be taking you day by day with not only the Chinese astrology, but the sidereal astrology, where you will get where we can get into the moon. And I talk a lot about mainly the moon, but also the personal planets, Mars, Venus, Mercury, of course. So yeah, we are going to be taking a look at, those major transits day by day. So stick around. Also, be sure to like and subscribe, and please let me know where you're from. I am talking about time from Boise Mountain Time. I live in Boise, Idaho, so adjust your timing accordingly. And so yeah, again, I'm going to be just super brief about the horse, but a horse, well, there's so many sayings about the horse, and I actually wrote a really fun blog. I think it was pretty fun. It was very fun to write because there are just so many sayings, right? Like you can't lead or you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Hungry as a horse, there's the work, working as hard as a horse. Anyway, I could go on and on, right? So there's so many things about the horse that we hear in our culture and that we are very familiar with, and those are all very applicable to this year's energy. So it is going to be a year of hard work. It is year of, I mean, they are very intelligent animals. They also desire freedom. They cannot be pinned down, especially a young fire horse. I mean, do not think that you can tell it what to do. It is not going to listen to you unless it has made up its mind that it wants to listen to you. And you better be someone important. um, and let's see. So those are some of the bigger ones. Yes, they're an emotional animal. They are a little bit more, I mean, all horses can be kind of volatile. The young earth horse is the least or of the earth horse, but definitely the fire horse can be a little bit more volatile. We will see some of those really eruptive energies this year, unfortunately, just collectively. And so the young fire element, it actually correlates to the heart organ. I'm also a Chinese medical practitioner. For those of you who don't know, I've been doing that for actually 14 years now. And I have been doing the Chinese astrology for 5 now. So hard to believe, but here I am. So yeah, so with the Chinese medicine and the correlation to the heart, so the reason is the horse correlates to 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Of the day. And so this is that time of the highest heats of the day. And so, yes, they can be hot-headed, they can be temperamental, and have a quick temper. So this is something that, a lot of horses have to work on in their life. And so as we age, we get better. And I can attest to this. I actually have 2 horses in my chart. So luckily, they're both earth horses. I know I keep saying that if you've watched my class already. And I'm sorry for the other horses that it's just that, yeah, it can be a little bit tough to be a horse, right? So one of the things that we may experience this year, and hopefully not too much, because again, it's really going to depend on so many other things in our transits, and of course our chart, what animals we have, what ones get along, which I'd love to share more about you with you about. But yeah, so there is something that the horses have that a couple other animals also have. It's called self-punishment. And so self-punishment is kind of like how it sounds. I mean, it's basically where, you work against yourself, you overcommit, you promise more than you can give, or, you just do something where it just works against you and it's not really in your favor. And you might be sitting there going, why am I doing this to myself again? Like, this is a waste of time, or that was painful, or whatever, right? So whether that's with relationships or business, so many different personal things, right? I mean, it could even just be overdoing it at the gym or something. So yeah, there is a lot of that tendency for this year, if especially you have a horse in your chart. Now, remember, we do have 4 animals in our chart. If you have not printed off your Chinese astrology chart, make sure you check the link below so that you know what your 4 main animals are. And like I said, if you guys want to learn more, I would love to do a reading for you. I'd love to do personal reading, and/or you can also do relationship readings. Yeah, there's even mini readings available. Your first mini reading is just kind of an overview of the chart. After that one, then I can get into like more of like a specific question or something like that. And so we can do those as needed. So yeah, but anyway, I think just even in terms of the world, though, and us living in the United States, a lot of you that are following me are here in the US. I'm sure there's going to be people from around the world, but the US does have a horse in their chart. And so there is going to be some aspects of that. I mean, it's kind of already apparent that that's been sort of coming, just when we look at things from a political overview. And, I'm not a political person, and I'm not on one side or the other. I think either side, there's issues and problems, and that's why. And I think either way, no matter who is or was president or whatever, there's always problems and issues. So unfortunately, this is just kind of part of the karma that we're experiencing. And, this is just going to be a test, but really, this young fire energy, it is super loving. It is super generous. It is super giving. So there is, a lot of really sweet energy. Um, yeah, I mean, the young fire energy loves to shine. I mean, the US will be a spotlight in the world still this year, for whatever reason it may be. If you have a horse in your chart, you will be in the spotlight, whether you like it or not. It's just part of our Dharma again for the year. So, but yeah, let's definitely uh, also just be aware that with this fire energy, because it is double fire within it, so there's the young fire is the element above. So we have the stems and the branches, they call them in the Baji in our Chinese astrology chart. So there's already young fire inside of the horse, and then the main element for the year is the young fire. So we have this double fire. So it is this pure fire element, which means a lot of different things. But one thing is that systems are going to be coming to an end. They are going to burn to the ground. So let's not try to fix the broken systems, or, try to keep, yeah, I mean, putting your energy into something that is clearly not working. Let's build something new. This is the year to be really authentic, to really dive into your spirituality, to really, if you have a business that has anything to do with spirituality, metaphysics, healing, those kinds of things, just being authentic, being on social media, something where you want to sell, like whether you're doing a YouTube video, you're doing something on TikTok, I don't know, wherever, Instagram, Facebook, all of it, like this is going to be the year to get out and just be yourself. And so if you can do that, the horse loves to be itself. The horse doesn't want to be pinned down, right? It is like nobody's going to tell it what to do. It always tends to think it's right. And often it is. I mean, it's a really freaking smart animal, right? Um, and while it can be emotionally like kind of erratic, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily that emotional of an animal or that empathetic. The young fire horse is a little less empathetic. Again, if I am talking about this on a general level, this is not you personally, so please don't be like, oh my gosh, this is so rude. Because remember, we have three other animals in our chart and other elements, and sometimes those can be more important. Now, remember, you have a year animal and you have a day master animal. The day master is just as important as your year animal, and even more so in some Chinese astrology traditions. I would say probably more so along with your hour pillar animal, which is more like your moon sign. So I would say those three are your most important. Then you have your month animal, which is your career. And if you're a business owner like me, I think for anybody who's working, whether even if you're retired, it's still important, but especially if you are working of working age, whether you have a career, you work for somebody else, that's obviously a very important pillar as well. We spend a lot of time working, right? So all four animals are super important. So, yeah. And yeah, there's just so many wonderful things about the horse. They're extremely talented. They're extremely creative. One of the things I really advise if you have a horse in your chart, if you aren't already, especially a young fire horse too, because it really needs outlets, is finding a creative outlet. This would be a great year for you to be like, wow, you know what? I've always loved to do XYZ. I'm going to really, put my energy into my knitting, my painting. This it could be even a sports thing too, if that's more. There are often horses are very talented at games, sports. So, you could be an amazing chess player. Maybe you want to go to tournaments with that. It could be volleyball. Whatever it is that you love, like definitely jump into it. So, yeah. All right. So that's all I'm going to say about the young fire horse. You'll have to get the recording which is really well worth your time. It is about nearly 2 hours of information on the year. And so there is a link for the recording below. I highly recommend it. Everybody's been having a lot of fun receiving it. You didn't need to be there in person to get everything from it. So this is a great introduction to your chart, the Baji chart, and your animals and elements and how you're going to do this year. So love to share that with you. All right. So I've already talked about the eclipse season a little bit, as I mentioned. I'm going to be talking about this week. I am a day late because again, my body fell apart last week. I'm been back to it this week, and yeah, just it is Tuesday the 10th, and so I'm going to be doing this weekly report from the 10th of Tuesday the 10th until Sunday the 15th. So yeah, I usually do a whole weekly video, right? You guys missed me last week, I hope. Please let me know in the comments that you appreciate me, because that really helps this to get seen more. So thank you for letting me know and letting other people know too how this has been impacting you. Also, I love to hear like if you're like, wow, that day was exactly like how you said, and like how that helped you navigate it or helped you to just understand better about why things, ended up the way that they were. Yeah, so it can be really helpful, for other people to hear and see. And also just it helps us all to know that we're not alone, we're going through it. And that's one of the biggest things I feel like is the best takeaway from us with astrology, is that, we do get to experience these different things where yeah, we're all affected, of course, differently, and yet, the moon's energy is like this general energetic influence that influences all of us, that we're all going to experience to a degree in a certain way, right? And then so it just can help us to make sense of like why things can be so difficult or so challenging or so tricky, or also exciting and amazing, and all the special things that can happen too. And there's always a mix of that every week. So yeah, I haven't figured out exactly what I would call this yet. Maybe I've already got the name of it down for this week's energy, because yeah, I think overall it's a pretty lovely week. It's yeah, pretty interesting. Of course, we have a lot of energy in Aquarius, and we are almost in the full sun of Aquarius. And I'm going to share my chart with you. Remember, I'm a sidereal astrologer, so I know some of you are like, I am so confused, because if you've come from the Western astrology world, then it can be confusing, and that's okay. And let's see. Yeah, I think I just wanted to say too quickly that we are, before I share my chart, that again, this is a tiger month and a metal tiger. And so this metal tiger, well, the tiger and the horse are best friends, tiger, dog, and horse. So those are the three best animal combinations. The horse gets along with some other animals really well too, including the goat and the rabbit gets along pretty well with too. Anyway, but or cat, as I'm now calling the rabbit. So I will get into that a little bit more here shortly. But yeah, so it being a horse month, I mean, it's always really great when it's a horse year to begin in a horse month. So that's kind of a really beneficial thing. And there is kind of this element of, again, with well, we'd call it more of a destruction energy, but it's a changeable energy where the horse is going to be creating a lot of change, of course, as we've been talking about, as I've been saying, as you've been hearing, uh, because it's a yang fire, but also because it's a month of metal. And so this fire is able to burn and meld metal, right? We can create beautiful swords, jewelry, all these different amazing things with the element of fire, heating up and melting metal and then forming something new. So this is kind of that big energy that we are coming into the year with. So let us again, like, what can we transform? What can we create? And what can we really purify? So metal energy is really about purification. And tigers are, they're very fastidious and ferocious. They're super passionate. So take this passionate energy. They're very bold. So get out in the world and be bold with what it is that you're creating. Have some friends that are doing this. And, it's, yeah, this is going to be a great year, even though it's going to be a little scary too. I'm not going to say that we aren't going to have to like really hold on to the saddle and we're going to be riding a wild horse. It's going to be a little nuts and our hats are going to be flying off. We're going to have times of just complete meltdowns and breakdowns. Again, with I did want to say, sorry, I skipped over. I was talking about the heart energy. The heart is correlated to that same time of horse energy, right? So from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The heart energy is about, and when it's in balance, it is about joy. It is about excitement. It is about love, and it also helps us to, when we have a happy heart, we sleep well, we're at peace. When our heart is in disharmony, it comes about as an anxiety. It comes about as anger. It comes about as even psychotic mania. So this again is why we're going to see some really rough things in the world. So we're going to have to take super good care of our hearts. It's really fascinating that February is Heart Health Month. I wonder if that began in a horse year. I'm going to look that up. That really intrigues me right now. But anyway, it will be very, very important for us to take really good care of our hearts this year. And cacao is a really beautiful medicine that I love for the heart. And I happen to be, I guess I would say I have one small addiction in life, and it's to dark chocolate. And I even have my little um, chocolate nibs here. Um, And anyway, I'm like, okay, if there's one bad vice to have in the world, I think it's okay that that's mine. But anyway, cacao is really beautiful heart medicine. It is a heart opener. Now, if you use it too much, and this has actually happened to me recently, just drinking hot cacao, I was like, okay, I was on my parasite cleanse. I switched from drinking the green tea. I was trying to get rid of caffeine, but I didn't do it completely because, of course, there's some caffeine in dark chocolate. But I was having hot cacao in the morning. And then sometimes I was having a second cup, or most days I should say. Now, some people that are more sensitive to cacao, if they are having that much of it daily, like a couple cups, and then maybe even like a little bit of dark chocolate bar later in the day, or whenever you have that, like I was starting to have just a tiny bit of heart palpitation. So it can, I've heard other people be like, I had to stop eating dark chocolate or drinking cacao. Now, I don't think you have to actually stop completely. I think some people have gotten a little bit paranoid and overly worried when, I mean, there's good reason to be concerned. You definitely want to cut back when you find that. And I had to step away from drinking cacao all day. That just does not work for my body. Or, several cups a day, I found is just too much for me. So, just wanted to put that out there. But anyway, so it is a beautiful heart medicine, heart opener. I do love to bring it to circles. I do have a circle for the Chinese New Year this Friday for those of you local. So come and join and play and romp around with us. We're going to be galloping and frolicking in our ecstatic dance at the end of the night. But we do have music from the wonderful Jay Barhelios, local musician. And we're going to have this cacao ceremony, intention setting ceremony. It's going to be so beautiful. I'm really excited to share that with those of you local. So definitely share with a friend. It's a fundraiser. There is a sliding scale available. All the details are below. So definitely check that out. All right. But yeah, in general, having cacao here and there, or like if I'm going to go out and I need some energy, I have my mug of cacao that I am drinking on the way to like go dancing or something because it's gonna make me like, feel that's my drug of choice, I guess. I'm not gonna really have a beer, I'm gonna have my mocktail when I get to the bar when I get thirsty enough. And I'm gonna have my cacao on the way there. So that's how I like to do it. It's something to think about. And, I love helping people to also think of course, healthier alternatives and also like ways to do something that is different than using alcohol because alcohol is really hard on our body. It is extremely heating. Again, these mania-like symptoms can be progressed and or put on and brought up into the body through eating and drinking too much extremely heating foods or beverages, and alcohol is one of them. So when some people exhibit this behavior, it's because they actually just drink too much. I mean, this is why there are bar fights, right? This is why we know that some people just get really angry when they drink. Obviously it doesn't happen to everybody. It really depends on your constitution, so many different things, but also a lot of excess heat that can be really hard and cause more of this would be like cayenne pepper, chili peppers, ginger, black pepper, even garlic. All of those, if we do too much, can really flare that heat up to the head, causing the young fire or the young liver patterns that cause us to be really angry and wild, and this heart pattern that can eventually become like psychotic episodes. So, we do want to watch what we're eating this year, especially in the heating world. And I do love my spicy, but I have to really rein it in as well. So, all right. So, all right. Okay. Few more things. We are already in Mercury retrograde. Oh my goodness. So, funny, not funny. I don't know why I said that. On February 3rd, we had Mercury go into Aquarius. So we have the stellium in Aquarius. Oh, I can share my screen now. And so this will be kind of nice for you to see. For those of you that are able to, if you're driving, no worries. But so yeah, we've had since the third Mercury in Aquarius. It's been there for about a week now. And we now have a Venus in let's see, when did, and on the 6th, so just a few days ago, we had Venus go into Aquarius, and then we have the North Node in Aquarius as well. So, and then I will be talking more about this later on in this report, just a few days away, but on the 13th, I believe. Yes, on the 13th, the sun will go into Aquarius. So I know it is a little bit tricky, but if you are having a birthday in January or early February, you are a Capricorn, sun in Capricorn. However, if you're like, wow, I feel so Aquarius, it's because you have a really important placement of Aquarius in your chart. I do many readings on sidereal astrology. So I do not feel ready to do a big full report, but I am starting to offer that. So also, you can look for that link below, but I can definitely, share your chart and help you to just do a little mini reading. There's a lot more that I am still learning, and yeah. And as always, I am just being patient with myself in life, and I hope that you are too with yourself, because we can't always do everything that we want in the time that we want, and that's okay. All right, so some of the big things I want to talk about for today. Actually, let me just double check that there wasn't anything else I wanted to say. Well, I just want to say too that they call it the beginning of spring in the Chinese metaphysics on February 4th. So on that day that the Yang fire horse energy began was also what they call Li Chun. So happy spring to you all. If it doesn't feel like spring yet, I mean, I'm here in Boise, Idaho, like I said, yes, it's still winter. However, I was starting to really feel this last week, more of that feeling of spring. Of course, we're having a major drought, unfortunately, here, but we are getting some rain and snow this week, luckily. So we're all praying for that. Yeah, it's been a little bit scary for sure, but anyway, so pray for snow for us. I know some areas in the Mideast, back east, you guys are just getting dumped on. So I hope that you're getting a little reprieve, but I'm also grateful that you guys are not going to be having a drought. All right, so on the 10th, we have a Yinwood Rabbit Day, and this is a really great day to be creative. It's a remove day, or excuse me. Oh yeah, no, it is a remove day. Okay, for some reason I thought it was a different day. So it is a day that we can solve a problem. We can fix something that has been bothering us. There's a lot of creative energy for this. Oh yes, and I'm still getting used to this. So I started doing more research into the cat versus the rabbit. So a lot of my initial astrologer teacher, she always said rabbit, and a lot of them, do, which is fine. The ones that have been trained in China. Well, the ones that have been trained from Vietnam or some other countries, they call it the cat. So I am going to be kind of going back and forth between cat and rabbit until I think I'm going to stick with cat because, it's one of the things this particular astrologer brought up, Suzanne White. She was like, we don't even know what a personality of a rabbit is, right? I mean, at least I don't. And so some of you can help correct me because you might have had a pet rabbit and I've never had one. So I don't, and I love rabbits. So don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like them or something, but we all know this personality of the cat. And so I think there is this very distinct personality that seems a little bit more befitting of the energy. And I think actually at one time it was initially the cat and then it was changed to the rabbit from the research. I don't quote me on that. I'm still need to dig more, but I think that's what this particular astrologer was saying. So anyway, it's going to be again a day to, yeah, it's going to be a great social day. It might be a good day to, because we also have the moon in Scorpio. Now, I mean, moon in Scorpio doesn't necessarily make us feel like being sociable. It's really going to kind of make us actually be more interested in digging deep, more looking into our psychological depths. This would be a great time to actually do some coaching, some therapy, some introspective work, journaling, meditation, going to a sound bath, something of that nature. Yeah, there's just all kinds of things, just even a beautiful yin yoga class could be really lovely, or any kind of yoga, any kind of self-growth activity would be lovely today, but also something to do with this problem solving and fixing a problem. And so that could be a social activity, right? And I mean, rabbits are social creatures. They do really care about their families, so maybe it's more of a family night. Could be a great night to be like, hey, let's call a family meeting and discuss this issue that we've been having where nobody's helping out with the laundry or whatever it is, right? So I highly encourage you using that in whatever way works good for you. But and then let's see. So we do have a square from the moon to Mercury and even to Venus today. And so this is going to just have us desiring a little bit more of beauty and love and longing for that in life. And so, yeah, it could be a day that we may feel a little bit more indulgent in buying things, even, or in doing something to beautify ourselves or our home. And also, it could help us, be more communicative with this moon square to Mercury. So, yeah, I actually really invite you to do that. And then the sun is squaring Uranus. So, wow, okay. I had forgotten this already started this soon. So, this energy could start to make us feel a little bit fickle in relationships. So, however, if you are not in a relationship, this is a great time to get out and like really meet some people, go on a date, like be open-minded. If you're in a relationship, bring in something creative into your life. We need to really bring in something more novel and entertaining, and also try not to be dwelling on the past or anything like that. So those would be some good things to consider for today. What else? We also have Mercury and the North Node are conjunct now. And so this is going to have us thinking and doing things that are more about kind of our personal evolution in life, right? So there could be things that we're signing up for that we're like, okay, this is going to help us to, really evolve. And even if it's almost like an unconscious thing, it's kind of a really fun curiosity. Like I have a good friend who just signed up for a class and I'm like, wow, is this going to be something that they're going to really focus on in the future, like and teach possibly, right? I mean, you never know. Like again, we're in this eclipse season where things are faded. I talked a lot about this the last few weeks, but I'll just say really quickly that during eclipse season, again, we need to be very mindful of like who we meet, who comes in, who comes out. Unfortunately, relationships that end, they are destined to end. We can't get them back. And I did experience that last year during the first March eclipse. It was in March, the first one of last year, and that was when my last ex and we parted ways. It was kind of a shorter relationship in general, but it was all for the best and we're still friends. But, it was very clear to me as that came to an end that was, the relationship as a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, partnership, whatever you want to call it, was definitely complete. And that wasn't going to be something we were going to get back. So sadly, sometimes we lose friends and, we do sometimes see people's true colors come out during eclipse season. We also can have like such amazing, beautiful people come into our life that we're like, wow, this gets to be my new best friend for the rest of my life. And again, these people, events, situationships and things have been coming in again the last 4 weeks, or I should say last 3 weeks. So really paying attention to that. And then this week coming forward. And then from that second uh, eclipse on March 3rd that we'll be having, we'll look another month out. So really we have a good 10 weeks of eclipse season. I also, just think you need to be really careful during eclipse season in general. I personally don't go out on eclipses and try to do anything really huge. And so we just want to be a little bit cautious and careful around that time. It doesn't mean that anything bad is going to happen, but, it's just something to be forewarned and informed about. And that's why I'm doing my Chinese astrology New Year Young Fire Horse celebration on Friday the 13th. And I mean, come on, it's Friday the 13th. Plus, the sun will be hang on just a second. Am I right about this? Oh yeah. Okay. Well, actually the sun, oh yeah, no, it is in Sagittarius. I mean, the moon is in Sagittarius. That's what I thought. I'm like, I know I checked the moon for planning because I try to make my parties on the moon in Leo, the moon in Sagittarius, the moon in Aries. Those are always a good time, but especially Sag and Leo. Those are definitely some of the best fun energies. But there's other moon energy that can be really lovely, like moon in Libra even, or yeah. So anyway, all right. So let's move to February 11th. And today's energy is the Yang Fire Dragon. And this is a multiplier day, so we're gonna have to be careful because it's a fiery dragon, a young fire dragon. I mean, talk about big energy. I mean, it's bigger energy in some sense than a young fire horse. Now, those are definitely two beasts that I would have fun doing a little Chinese astrology spar with another Chinese astrologer at some point. So I'm going to put this out into the universe that eventually I'm going to have a really fun conversation in a podcast with somebody, but we'll decide who trumps what because the dragon, of course, is a bigger creature, but that young fair horse, it is one talented a mother foe, I'll just say. Oh my goodness, it's so fun though. All right, so this multiplier day is just really important to keep in mind because we're gonna have to really keep in check on our mindset, okay? Everybody always on multiplier days, do not go down the bad rabbit hole of, or dragon fire hole in this case, because you will suffer. So yeah, just be aware that dragons can become a little hot-headed, okay? Just like a horse can. They can explode, especially a young fire dragon. So really be careful that you are being gentle with yourself too, because dragons can be so hard on themselves, and they also have the self-punishment that horses do. So this is a good day to, again, just really take some good self-care this year in general. As I've said in my report that hopefully you'll be getting on this Young Fire Year of the Horse, we're really gonna have to prioritize self-care. So keep this in mind. The moon is in Scorpio. It's going to keep having us delving deep, but again, finding mysteries, and we may want to really chat about that. And because we do have this conjunction now with Venus and Mercury, and so we're going to be wanting to share and talk with our loved ones, our friendships, or our partner. And because they are both in Aquarius, we're really going to just feel more like, okay, this could be, again, really fun to talk about all these things. Again, we still have this conjunction of the North Node, so there could be some things that are really faded and beautiful to converse about and or learn about, and or that we're going to be kind of starting, right? And that could go on. We're going to be having this conjunction for over the next week, so just lots to think about in that respect. And the North Node is also square the moon today. So again, there will be a little bit. Oh, interesting. I think, let me double check that this is right. Okay, thank you for your patience. I mean, it does say it here. It doesn't look like it totally. So I just wanted to double check. I was like, is that right? Yeah, it is a square still. Oh, I see it now. Okay, so this, yeah, the North Node is square the moon. So again, just a little bit more of that emphasis on us finding things that are really going to be things that are going to bring us into our full evolution in life. And again, I think this will be more in the thinking and learning realm because the North Node is in Aquarius. And it could be about really the mysteries of life. And again, digging deep into something, whether, yeah, it's hard to say what that could be. And it could be something to do with a big vision on a day like today, because dragons have this big, huge vision. They are so amazing being this flying creature, right? They can get up in the air. I mean, it's the only flying creature in the entire zodiac. So much fun to think about being a dragon. They are such powerhouses, such amazing go-getters, doers. Um, the top doers are the dragon and the I would say the dragon. Well, dragon and horses are really up there, and then yeah. Anyway, I'll get back to you guys on that. I would have to see all the different. Um, yeah, I've got to think more, but anyway, so they are very productive. That is what I'm trying to say, but also this beautiful big vision. So enjoy the big vision of today. And yeah, let's move to February 12th. So this brings us to Thursday. And this is going to be kind of a Neptunian day. And so for those of you that are familiar with Neptune, the reason I say that is because, yes, we do have a moon has moved into Sagittarius, so that fun-loving, playful energy. And again, Sagittarius is also about truth finding. Remember the archer is drawing back the bow. It wants to really zone in on what's true, what's not true. It really wants to find higher truth, so spiritual truth, spiritual law, and it has a little bit of that self-righteousness sometimes. But yeah, so this moon in Sagittarius is square to Saturn and Neptune. So what that means is that we could just have a little bit, especially again so back to the Neptunian energy can be dreamy. It can be also feeling very confused and muddled about, our different thoughts, especially with some of this Sun square Uranus. So if that's having us question any relationship in our life or relationships, then this could cause more, yeah, illusion, delusion, confusion. So just know that this is a passing transit. Thursday would be a good day to lay low. Although although the moon is in Sagittarius, I would not say this is the fun-loving day of the week. I'm not saying it couldn't be. I will say also that with a square to Neptune, that we can pick up on other people's energies quite a bit. We're really going to be empathic. So if you're already an empath, like there is a concert that night, this Thursday night, that normally I'd love to go to, and I am pretty sure I'm going to pass because I already struggle being in big groups and not picking up on everybody's stuff. And I'm not interested with this kind of energy. It's just not going to be fun. It's going to be more like a Moon and Virgo kind of day, which is not a fun day to be at a concert. Everybody's in their head, or it's not a fun day to have a social gathering because you're all worried about you're anxious and you're like, oh, what does everybody think about me? And it's just not fun. So, all right, now the moon is also, like I said, square Saturn. And so this is also going to just cause some restriction in like our ability to, yeah, feel like we're getting where we want to in life and, where we want to go. And yeah, even a restriction in terms of possibly like seeing all the whole truth in the bigger picture. I mean, again, we still are continuing to have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. I know that some people in the Western astrology are saying it's now moved into another sign, but nope, it moved into Pisces last year. It is sidereal astrology has some big differences. So this is not going anywhere anytime soon. All right. So this is energy that we will continue to see. And as you continue to follow the energies with me, I think you'll see why this will make a lot of sense. Pisces has to do with immigration, and Saturn is restriction. We are seeing that, of course, here in the US. And so it kind of really makes sense. And it doesn't look like that's getting any better. So to me, that's another sign that sidereal astrology, it just kind of continues to make sense for me. We do know how this exact conjunction with Mercury in the North Node. So again, like I would be really excited. There could be something really fated today that's happening in the learning realm, especially around something that you may have a vision around. I mean, Aquarius is the big vision. They are visionary people. They are community focused. There is something that you could be planning and creating that you want to bring forth into the world. So I would love to hear about it. Share below if you like. I do read everybody's comments. This is a yin fire snake balance day. So the yin fire energy is going to also be an energy that likes to inspire others. So yeah, go out and share this idea of what you're wanting to create in the world. There is a little bit of a conjunction, just barely still, with the Mercury and the sun, or excuse me, no, Mercury and Venus. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. So we will still want to be talking with friends and a loved one about this bigger vision. So yeah, utilize this day. It could still be a good day to like go have some conversations with people, but you just might feel a little bit fuzzy, and people could get a little hot-headed maybe. I mean, the snake can just be like, it's definitely a very easygoing animal, so to speak. It also does like to use its charm to get its way. It is a balanced day, so be aware if you are one of those snakes that I do love. But, snakes, if you are trying to use your charm today, it's going to be a balanced day. So it's going to balance in the favor of what is true and right. So that may not be on your side if you're just trying to be Weasley, or for the cat rabbit that's trying to be a little Weasley as well. That's another animal that kind of uses its charm and decorum, so to speak. All right. What else? I think that was, oh, and then just the last thing is that this is an important day because we have our Capricorn sun at our very last degree. So let's just think about today as, we could be again having some confusion on this day. And if we are taking it more as a let's just keep it low at home kind of day, this would, like I said, be a good day to be reflective of like, how have I been doing in Capricorn season? What have I done that has become more grounded? How have I become more realistic in my life? How, what am I applying to really, create this steadfast and structures that are going to help me to get through this year of the young fire horse. So I hope that you've been doing some good things that you'll continue to carry forward. And I'd love for you to meditate on that. I think it would be an amazing day to have a little meditation. And I am going to invite us into doing that on the 13th at the event as well. So it's okay, even though the next day we're fully in the sun in Aquarius, it'll be okay. We can, we're going to be bringing our journals, taking a little time to do some journaling after I share about the astrology and setting those intentions for our young fire year. It's going to be so much fun. So please join, like I said, if you're able. I know some of you are not in this area. So, And that is one thing that I do not have access to, live events like that. And if it's not, if it's an in-person event, I don't try to do the online and in person. It just doesn't work, in my opinion. I've been to some of those in the past, and that I had friends do, and or I did once with a friend. We did a new moon or a full moon ceremony like that, and it was just hard because nobody could hear the person that was like on the laptop, and then you know, I felt like they missed out on being in the full circle in person too. And, it was a good try. I mean, I don't think it was terrible. It's just not the best, right? Okay, so we moved to Friday the 13th. Again, we have the moon in Sagittarius this whole day. So this will be a much more fun-loving day. We moved out of that square to Saturn and Neptune from the moon. Thank goodness. Whew. So, we're gonna feel like we have more clarity on whatever came through, or we just can be like, okay, I'm back to myself again. So yeah, I would love to hear though. Let me know how that goes for you. We do have this opposition with the moon to Jupiter today, so we will possibly feel like being out in the limelight more, or we will be, whether we want to sometimes or not. So just be aware of that. And also, yeah, you just may feel like being very generous, and there could just be, yeah, some really big, beautiful, benefic energy, which will be really lovely for the gathering. Or if, you're doing something else for whatever gathering that you're at, enjoy this beautiful energy. And then we do have this, the Sun and Uranus are having that square. So again, we could just still have some impact of feeling some uncertainty about a relationship possibly, but in better news with that, again, the antidote for this is to again bring in that fun-loving, creative energy, playful energy, some different things like that into this day, and maybe some eccentricity, right? I mean, Uranus is an eccentric, so be creative, be communicative, be goofy, be yourself, be authentic. First and foremost, this is the year of authenticity. We also do have Mars square Uranus today as well. So this is also going to be a little bit of tricky energy. So I'm just double checking. Oh, you know what? Nope, that was on my notes. I didn't think so. I was like, wait, that is not today. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. Scratch that. That's on the wrong day. All right, so moving over to the 14th, we've come to the weekend, to Saturday. And we have a yin earth goat day. This is going to be a very peaceful, loving day. It will be a fun day because, well, in the morning, especially, we'll be feeling a little bit more fun loving still. This could be a great morning to go out to brunch, have some good conversation, some peaceful loving, because, the moon is in Sagittarius in the morning still. And again, this benefic energy of Jupiter is still, I mean, just barely opposition, but again, just still bestowing us with this ability to be in the limelight. In the afternoon, the moon will move into Capricorn, so and it'll still be a great day. In the afternoon, it just will be a little less of that. It'll be a more practical focused energy, right? And less jovial focused. So I would, say that on the 14th, if you are doing something with your sweetheart, if you want to do something really fun, I would do something for breakfast personally. I think you'll be really glad that you did. And then do something more practical and earthy. Maybe it's like, you're giving each other massages, or if you have a sweetheart. And if you're single, no worries. There are lots of ways that you can do some good self-care today, and, do some structuring and practical work that will benefit you. And, I will say too, though, that with Venus and Aquarius, this is not the best time. And I know that I mentioned earlier in the week that you could go out on a date. I think that it depends on everybody's transits. I don't think that you ever have to be like, oh, I can never, meet a new person during certain things, because again, our personal transits always will trump the bigger collective energy, because we could have a transit that is allowing us to meet somebody. But in general, Venus and Aquarius energy is very friendly. It's kind of a detached energy. Even in our love relationships, we can be just a little bit more like, almost like, just cutting to the chase, down to business. Aquarius energy can be, yeah, very unemotional, very, again, detached. So I have known Venus and Aquarius people, and I was just like, wow, I could not get close to them. And I'm not saying that everybody's like that, but and then again, just with studying over the years of Venus and in Aquarius astrology, and being in the dating world because I was single for so many years. I am dating somebody right now, so I feel like I'm hopefully getting to say that's behind me. Well, time will tell, but anyway, but with Venus and Aquarius, we might be possibly a little disappointed in our relationships. I hope not, but again, with some of these aspects, it's been a little tricky. Okay, and so now we do have, let me make sure that I'm saying this right. I believe now the sun is, yep, it is now Sun square Uranus. Okay, I have it on the right day. Here we go. So for Saturday, yeah, this will be, oh, and I did talk about this before. So it has been going on. Um, with a Sun square Uranus. So I've been talking a lot about just bringing some fun play into your life, some eccentricities into your love life or relationships. So also it'll be interesting because this Uranus square the sun will be unexpected events around things to do with leadership in the world. That could be leadership in some company that you are involved in your own business dealings or workplace, or it could be in the world. So we may be seeing this with leadership in the US especially. I think that will be pretty fascinating. So, yeah, that could be happening this whole week where surprising events that will be surfacing. So, we'll have to be on the lookout for that. And I will try to remember to see what I notice. I'm not, into watching news, but I do like to read headlines to keep abreast of some topics and not be completely in the dark, of course. And so today's Chinese astrology. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Before I move to the Chinese astrology for our, oops, I forgot to move it along, but that's okay. Okay, because I think I said we're on February 15th, but then I forgot to show you the actual. Okay, well, anyway, we've still had the same transit that I was talking about with the sun and Uranus square. But yeah, now we have the Pluto and the moon in Capricorn, both in Capricorn, and they're conjunct today. So this just could definitely bring in some growth, edges, some things that we could find some things that may trigger us, but they we do have this beautiful trine though to Uranus, so that's going to help. So that'll kind of ease things. But yeah, I mean, again, you have to kind of know more about your personal planets to know how this will impact you more. So just know that you could possibly be triggered on a day like today, and it's for your higher growth and your, personal development. And so while that may not be easy, try to use the Chinese energy of this day. So it's a young metal monkey day. So try to bring humor to it if you can. That would be one of the hallmarks of the monkey. Also, like, see it as a gift or bring a gift into the equation. Maybe you need to go. I'm not really one to talk about shopping therapy ever, but this could be a day to be like, it's okay, I'm going to go buy myself a really nice smudge stick, even, or whatever, right? To make myself feel better because I might be licking my wounds a bit, right? Or buying yourself some new crystals or something, right? So there are, always some beautiful energies. But yeah, this is a problem solving day in general, with it being a monkey day and destruction day, we call it. And so really, yeah, it's a great day to just fix problems on a day like today. So even though something may come up, you will have it in you to fix whatever that may be. And also, yeah, with that lovely trine to Uranus, luckily, we'll have this ability to come up with a solution that will be really inventive and original. And so it will help us in our lives, or maybe in the lives of others too. You never know. With all this Aquarius energy, with the, still having the stellium with the sun, Venus, Mercury, and North Node in Aquarius. So yeah. So again, happy birthday to my son in Aquarius, people, as of January 13th. And then I just want to talk about a couple of things. Like I said, we're just going to be a few days away from the actual lunar eclipse of the 17th, and that will be in Aquarius. Again, if you have an Aquarius placement in the sidereal system, especially sun, moon, rising, then you are going to be more impacted. I know that is, I'm a Aquarius rising, which is why I think I had a rough week last week, as I think I might have mentioned already, or maybe I just mentioned it in my video, but So just be aware that, these things are happening. That we will also have Mars go into Aquarius next week. I will be talking more about that. So it is our last week of Mars in Capricorn. Enjoy this energy because again, Mars in Capricorn has been really giving us the oomph to get up and do and go for our projects, taking our steps into. I've got a client on a 21 elimination diet. I just went through a whole parasite cleanse with the group for 21 days. People are really making some powerful breakthroughs. If you want to break through to schedule a connect call below so I can help you, whether that's with the Chinese medicine, with the Chinese astrology, I would love to share that with you. And like I said, we are in this Mercury retrograde and shadow period. The Mercury retrograde does begin on the 25th of this month. So, yes, we are already in the shadow period. I did already have some issues with Zoom this morning for my breath yoga class. Oh, I would say too that speaking of that, I will put another link below because breath yoga is one of the things that really helps people with emotional resilience, which we're all going to really, really need this year. So please consider coming and trying it out because people are just, once they get see the benefits of this class, they really see how this is something they want to keep doing. And like I love getting to help people, seeing how I love seeing how people get positively affected is what I'm trying to say. And I do have online classes. Of course, there is an in-person class as well for those of you who need that. And see, yeah, so like I said, we do have the second eclipse on March 3rd. There are some really challenging transits on the second. I would be a little careful around planning things during that full moon energy. Or just know that, again, come back in here. I will be sharing more about that. There's always good energies too, right? And something that I learned recently from an astrologer that I have learned from is that, or it was reminded of, I'm sure I feel like I would have heard this before, but anyway, that, at some point our mindset and everything can trump astrology. Okay. So even if we do see some difficult things, again, there can always be positive things and it doesn't mean that bad things have to happen. So please don't, create a negative story and bad things in your life by being like, oh, I have this. And, I've gotten really rigid in my life with different placements. So, there's so many more things to talk about in the coming, we don't have any more huge transits until March 10th. We'll have Jupiter go into, or will station to go. Yeah, finally, it's been retrograde. So that'll be really fun for it to go forward on the 11th. And then we'll have Venus in Aries on March 26th. So that will be a better energy for, well, that'll be interesting. It'll be, I think, better, but also have its own unique challenges. But with Venus in Aries, there can be a little bit of a, we can have the love-hate relationship, or I don't know, I don't even like to say that, but more of the, there can be this really strong passion and then there can be fighting energy. So anyway, but again, so many different things. And then into June, we'll have the Jupiter moving into Cancer. So the housing market is going to really improve this summer as we just begin the summer. So if you have been, like most of us, being like, I mean, how do you even afford rent these days and or, buy a house? That will be shifting. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the market of real estate. And so we'll be following that, of course, more as we get closer. So don't forget to schedule your astrology session with me. The link is below, or check out your astrology chart. Make sure you learn your 4 animals and your elements. And of course, I have that recording for the Young Fire Horse year and what it means. For everybody and for you. So I would love to see you there. I'd love to have you in any of my classes. Take good care. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.